Taylor Haney, single track surgeon, coming at you with another video, and today I'm here at beautiful Snow Valley Bike Park. This is Southern California's newest lift service bike park, and I would say that the terrain here is very unique compared to very nearby Snow Summit Bike Park. Now today I'm actually going to run through all of the trails for you today, from green to double black, give you a good overview of the resort to see if this is someplace you want to hit up this summer. Now before we get into riding, I'm here on a Friday, and I'm pointing that out because their Friday offering is actually different than any other bike park that I know of in the area. And that is, they're open from 1 to 7. Now, many people that have ridden Whistler say, yes, Whistler stays open really, really late. Well, most of the bike parks here in Southern California, they have this really early 4 p.m. closing time, which is frustrating in the summer because the sun goes down. Valley has decided that their Friday operations will be 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. So what that does is that gives you the ability to get off work and actually grab the twilight, which is 4 to 7 for 20 bucks, run up here, catch some runs, and what I like to do is do a half shuttle on exploration at the end of the day, have a nice sunset run, and it's just a great way to end the week. Now, Snow Valley is a relatively small resort. Once you get off the lift, you've got a couple options to your right, and then you've got one that actually goes down the fire road to your left. To the right, first trail you'll see is Bandit, which is a blue intermediate trail. Right next to it, you have Winchester and Greenhorn, which we're actually gonna do first, that heads up a slight hill up to another top of a lift. And then behind me, go down that way, that's the entrance to the double black jump line. We're gonna start out with Greenhorn. After a short pedal up the hill, we're at the entrance of Greenhorn. This is the green trail, but it's got a lot of cool optional hits that make it fun for, I would say, all skill levels. But you can roll around pretty much every feature here. It's just got a really good flow compared to some of the other trails. And even though it only has a green rating, this is probably the trail I find myself on the most, just because it's just so fun. Little mix of gnar, little side hits. And you can even hold quite a bit of speed through here. At the inside. This is actually my wife's favorite trail by far, because she can just cruise through here and not really worry about picking up too much speed or hitting anything too gnarly. Got a little catcher here. Roll up the hill. And they have done a little bit of redesign since Ian was here. He was the master builder, and this is probably one of the only improvements that I really like. And that's this huge corner. This used to be really tight. Now it's got some really good flow to it, and you don't have to slow down as much. Hold that outside. Now the dirt here I mentioned is quite a bit different than Snow Summit. You can tell the color, it's a lot lighter, and it's a lot more sandy. I say it's a happy medium between riding at Mammoth and riding at Snow Summit. This is one of my favorite little side hits here. Cool little tech stuff. So another thing that makes this place really cool is they allow those little side hits to exist. As I said, this is probably one of the coolest green trails that I've ridden. It's just so interesting. Usually green trails are designed almost as sidewalks, just way too easy. And this one actually has some challenging corners and some rock work. Now we're gonna cut across onto Lower Greenhorn. You can take that cheater line straight if you want, but I like to ride every inch of the trail since I'm paying for it. Good flow. Good practice holding speed. If you're a really advanced rider, I really recommend trying this specific route out for corner practice. Lots of loose corners. You gotta set up wide, hold as much speed as you can, look ahead, just really good cornering practice. You also have a pretty good gradient too. It's not like a lot of green trails where they really dumb them down. Then we got this little fast section heading into the corral. Jump up on the side. Fun little hit there. And now we're at the halfway point. Now, once you reach the corral, you'll have a couple options. The far left option is actually going to lead to both Crazy Horse and Fool's Gold. Fool's Gold is the green addition to the top. So if you want the greenway all the way down, you gotta take Greenhorn to Fool's Gold. Now, right behind me, you've actually got the access that goes all the way across the mountain over to Sundance. Now, that also services lower jump line. So if you wanna do an upper full lap, like upper Greenhorn, like I really like to do, upper and lower Greenhorn, you can actually head across and get the best part, in my opinion, the best part of the jump line. This is actually one of the really cool rock hits here. Woo! Jump inside. There's that inside line. You can skirt that pad there. They got rid of this jump here so you can nose bonk and then whip it out. Little hip there as you continue down to Fool's Gold. Really loose corner. There's certain places here that do get pretty loose. So if you're not used to that type of riding, definitely take a couple runs, get acclimated to the conditions. It's always a good idea. Now, Fool's Gold, similar to Upper Greenhorn, it's going to be a little bit more flow oriented. But that being said, there still are quite a few interesting features. So there's this inside line, you can jump right here, these soft corners. There's that inside rock to the right. And then this part is really cool. Got a little flow section. You can pump to that inside, pop off this rock. Just really cool additions to a green trail where I can take Kate down. She can enjoy the trail and the flow, and I can get some extra credit hits in. Good cornering practice, just like Upper Greenhorn. Little gaps. Beware of the sandy corners, especially this one across the bridge. That one will get you. Now on our left, you're gonna see where one of the double black trails comes down. Got this little bonus hit. You can go around that, of course. Woo! That is slippery. Woo! And they whiten that up. And now we've gone back to the lift. Next up is Winchester. Now this is the first blue trail that you're gonna see today. And it's got a little bit of flow. It's probably not as tech as the other blue trail, which is Bandit, but it's still got some good flow. You got the option to take this route that's a little bit longer. This is the original route. And you actually can split left to Greenhorn if you want, which is why I wanted to show you guys that. Most of the time, everybody just goes straight through this field here, and then it cuts into this corner. And let's get into the flow. Now, like Greenhorn, you got some optional hits, a little more difficult sections. You can jump these sections here, pretty fun. But you can just roll and take the easy line too. Lots of options. That corner is super soft. As you'll see, some corners get pretty gnarly and sandy. Woo! But that's part of the fun. I like to call this place Mini Mammoth because a lot of the places are similar to Mammoth where you've got super deep sand. I like this line right here. Woo! Slap that berm. Try and get outside as much as I can. Little rock hop. Woo! Now this section was put in a couple of years ago. You can go around it, as you see to the left there, but this line is super fun. Starts out with a hip. You got this jump here. Got inside line there. And they added this new exit so the bottom actually doesn't connect with lower bandit anymore, which is actually really nice because you can hit this and just jump over, and we're back in the corral. Now to get down to Crazy Horse, we're gonna take the same connector we did before, but you'll see we'll actually go straight instead of turning right onto that big sandy corner. Same jump, same nose bonk, same whip, fun stuff. I really like that one, that one's fun. There's a tech line to the left there, if you want to hit that, or you can just hit the jump. And I really like taking this left turn here. Now you can go straight, and that will take you over to the double black option too, but I feel like this is a little bit more of a straight line. And that's where you come in from the other line. Now this is a little bit more tech. Still have optional features that you can go around. This next section, unfortunately, is not something you can go around. And this needs to be improved somehow, because for true intermediate riders, that is a little bit of a janky corner. But the rest of it is the original trail and it works just fine. Just, as I said, soft corners. Get ready to take that foot out and don't oversteer. And that's the recipe for good turns. Woo! Got an optional inside line here if you want it. Woo! So loose. The good thing is the pitch on this trail allows you to still hold speed. Some places when it's this sandy, you struggle to hold speed and you end up having to sprint if you don't hold through a corner. And then you get in that weird chicken where you're like, I don't want to brake, but I should brake. Got a nice little rhythm section here. Back down into the straightaway and back down to the lift. Next up is a trail called Bandit. This is also another intermediate trail, but I would say this is more of an intermediate tech trail. So for those of you who are familiar with the grading scale up in Canada, they have flow designation and they have tech designation. So you can have a blue flow or you can have a blue tech. This I would define as more of a blue tech trail. You got this little flow opener, and we're turning left. If you turn right there, that actually goes to their new black trail that they opened last season. Got this little gap here. Jump outside, and this new little rock feature is pretty cool. Similar to the other trail, you've got these optional hits. You can choose to do them or you can just ride around them. Riding around them is probably both smoother and faster. You got a little flat pedal section through here. Test how good your pedal timing is. Weave your way through the rocks. And now we've got these snaking turns. Again, great place to practice cornering, not oversteering, looking ahead. And they actually rerouted this. This used to go straight back there. So they got rid of one of the more technical corners. This one is probably still more technical, but they took out one, flow into this next corner, flow wide. And this one's nice and wide, so you don't really have to worry about it. As you saw, there's little doubles everywhere. It's pretty loose and off camber. Now, as you can tell, I'm not following anyone right now. That's one thing that would look drastically different. If I was following somebody, you wouldn't really be able to see much. So probably advise giving each other a little bit of space if you're going in a train. We're gonna hang left here. There's a little rock drop that's pretty fun. Now, you can easily go around this rock drop to the left, or just send it off the edge there. And up the log, down the log. Now we're jumping on to Sundance. So this is the other route down from the corral. As I said earlier, this will service either the jump line or some of the more beginner options. And they rank this as a intermediate, but I would say this is probably a beginner trail as well. Woo! Get some good speed though. Woo! Now this trail used to go up to the right there, but now it just goes straight down and skips all those berms. And you just got these 3 big ones, but there used to be 5, which is another place, again, to practice your cornering. Woo. And we're gonna turn on to Sundance. We'll hit that jump trail a little later. More corners, nice soft corners. You got some rhythm here. Woo. You can hit these as fast as you want or as slow. Turn them into doubles. Woo. And we're actually going to turn right. I'll show you what that looks like a little later. That spur, it's a little diamond offshoot. We'll see where it comes in. But these are just some big practice berms. If you turn left on the spur, you'll be greeted with a lot of different rock lines. You can pick your way through and make it kind of as hard as you want it to be. I really like this right line because that gives you enough speed to clear this little water channel here. Got some little rhythm sections. You can jump them, pump them, manual them, do whatever you want. Woo, loose turn. You got this little side hit jump. Back to the lift. Back at the top, we're actually going to head to a trail called Quick Draw. Now this is a trail that was added last year. It is pretty raw. And then we're gonna head down to Gunsmoke. So this run, starting out on Bandit, Blue Trail, and then the last 2 trails are going to be blacks. So we're getting into the more challenging terrain here, flowing through these. And then we're back at this fork, and this time we're gonna turn to the right. Little rhythm section here. And now we are heading into Quick Draw. Now, I don't have a ton of good things to say about this trail. It isn't my favorite, but it's another option on the mountain, so can't get mad with more options, right? It's pretty raw. Isn't really much going on with trail design. There is a little triple drop section coming up. So you got 1 flat drop, 2, 3, no real landings to speak of at all. Little drop here. And then we're coming down to the grand finale, which is this big rock drop that you gotta get onto. Woo! Send it down. Super loose hill. Pushes you to the right. And although it's not maybe the most interesting trail, it's probably the quickest way to get down to the corral and to this little drop. Now from the corral, there's this little hidden option if you go straight. Now this isn't actually a trail that's on the map, but it is one that they used for some of the races. So that's how I actually knew that it was here. And it has these 2 little jumps that, I think it's actually 3, that you really don't have the speed for. But they put them here, so I suppose you could practice your saran wrap or your cans, right? Go over the top, bring the knee over. Whew. Try not to crash in the process. Whew. And now we're getting into the loose stuff. This is definitely more raw because this really is not maintained, so off camera, but it's got this big arching soft berm that's really fun. This part right here, good rut to hold you. This is another one of those trails where it's gonna look a lot different if you have somebody in front of you, because you really won't be able to see anything. Now we're back on that connector that comes down and heads down to Crazy Horse, or the turn to Fool's Gold was back there. So you've got these little hips here, pretty peaky. And now we're at Gunsmoke. Now, there are a couple different entries. This is the original entry that I kind of like because it's pretty techy. You gotta squeeze through. There's also one to the left that actually isn't as bad. Lots of little drops. I would say definitely don't ride this trail if you're not comfortable with drops and maneuvering the bike through steep terrain. Now the easy line is if you go to the left. There's this more difficult line if you go to the right, but it's much more smooth, and I think it's way more fun too. And you got this little extra credit rock roller right in the middle. Not a lot of people find that one. And then it just gets chunky. And now we're back on the Fool's Gold. And this is the little jump that I jumped, and I rode the little right around. Now we're heading back down to the lift on Lower Fool's Gold. Woo! And that is a great way to ride down if you want some black action. And they've got free ride. All right, we have come to the part of the video you all have been waiting for, and that's the jump line here at Snow Valley. Now this was added in 2 years ago. It's been a huge hit, and there have been a lot of changes. Some of them are questionable, and some of them are good. But the jump line is more or less the same shape. This jump is still really long, gotta yank it. It's still got really good flow. Super fast speeds. Just gotta be careful not to wash. Little road gap. I have no idea what's going on with that jump. That is dumb. This one got shortened a lot, so you can't send this one anymore. But then this next jump is still the same length, so you gotta yank. And then you gotta hold speed. Don't miss the corner. Woo! Try and hold speed. It's difficult with a lot of the sandy turns. With it being so early season, I thought they'd water it down a little more, but it's just really loose, which isn't really good or bad. You just have to know it's gonna be really loose. And now we're heading into the woods. One of my favorite sections. This part is so cool. Blind gap into a chute. Hold on. Hold on around the corner. Got this big yank. Oh yeah. And now we get a little bit of a breather. We get onto lower jump line. Now this was everybody's favorite. It was a big hit, and there are a lot of changes that make this not flow the same as it used to. I'll point them out as we go down. This drop, sick as always. Shark fin, still awesome. Little gap jump, little roller. You got a setup jump, and this jump became super poppy compared to the way it was. Still got the little creek gap. Now they did fill in all the gaps. So theoretically they're rollable, but these two jumps down here, they changed the most. Is that one is kind of similar, and then this one, whoo, to the moon. So if they're used to the way it was, well, you just might be in for a surprise, so just do a scout lap as always. So that's all the trails here at Snow Valley Bike Park. It's a lot of fun, so get your butt up here, whether it's on a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, but man, those Friday twilights are pretty awesome. And remember to scope out all the trails, even if you've ridden them before, because especially, as I mentioned, that jump line has changed a lot. So there's gonna be a lot of people doing that little one, and be a pretty good show from the lift. So until next time, remember, go fast, get drifty, and don't suck. You!